Welcome to the Astrocast for the week of July 27th through August 2nd. I think this is the last 2 weeks have been some of the most powerful of this year, and this particular week takes it next level. I think we've been doing a lot of the inner work last week and the week prior, and being met with things on our path that are inviting us to step in and step up to be kind of the ultimate game player uh, in the game of life. And I think that this week we cross a threshold into really setting the foundation for our soul life, like our dream life, our soul dreams coming true and being made even more manifest. So I have some powerful notes. I've been in like this channeling session for about 24 hours. It's been absolutely amazing. This may be the most powerful Astro cast we've had yet. So I invite you to come on in and treat this like an Astro Cafe. And I'm hoping that it is quenching if you've been soul thirsty, that it is nourishing to the fabric of your being, that it feeds your soul and your soul dreams and truly nourishes your spirit, the spirit of who you are. So I have some notes I want to read, and then we're going to dive in. I'm going to show you the forecast on the screen and also some tools that have I have kind of received through as transmission in a way I never have before. So really excited to allow you to see what I've been shown about three timelines that are all converging right now, holding us into a basket of becoming. And within that, I am not only talking about the astrological basket that is upon us and surrounding us, but um, two more timelines that, when together and understanding this pivotal moment of time in your own trajectory of your own hero's journey and your own kind of spiraling through the iterations and innovations and evolutionary chapters that are you, your spirit in a body, your spirit in space dust in human form, is here to live. And I really want to invite you to show up this week like you've never shown up before. And I want to hear about your soul dreams being made manifest. I know mine have. The life that I know I was made for, meant for, is upon me, and I am so fulfilled. And I want us all to feel that way. So I'm going to show you some things too that I've done to help myself get there in case you're wanting extra supports. So here's some kind of overall notes, and I'm going to break it down. So this week is a week of soul dreams coming through, coming true. We have the sun meeting Uranus on Tuesday, cracking open a sudden radiant possibility. And again, when I say a certain day, like Tuesday, it doesn't happen to happen that day, right? But like that's like the peak energy of it. It's like kind of like when we have the full moon moment. Well, we could look at the moon the day before, and we can't really tell. Is it the full moon today, or tomorrow? Right? I mean, like when a tide is impacted by the cosmos and it's like at its peak moment, we're still feeling it prior. We're still feeling it after. It's not the exact peak that, like, we have to have FOMO around if we're not getting something or experience something at that moment, right? Okay. But we have the sun meeting Uranus on Tuesday, cracking open a sudden radiant possibility. I will break everything down. Wednesday's full moon in Aquarius asks us to share our gifts with the people who actually need them. And underneath it all. So if you have been experiencing any kind of dip or undercurrents, some things are coming up. And in that is this kind of becoming basket. Basket meaning the way the cosmos, slowest moving planets that do not have this configuration except a few moments. They're like a few moments in a lifetime. So, like, they're way generational. A few generations, like, even might be between the times that this has happened again. So this is like in the long game of your life. You won't experience this again, this moment for a very long time. The becoming basket, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are finally flowing in aspect. And these three old powers, old like old prayers that you asked for even when you were a child, or you watched a movie when you were like, oh, I want to feel that way with someone, or like, oh, I've got this glimpse of clarity in my path, but then like, oh, I lost it. But what was that again? Or like those dreams you had as a child and then they kind of got conditioned out of you, right? So that's what I mean by old or even ancient, maybe written before you got here and you're having remembrances of them. Well, anyway, these powers are really conspiring in our favor through July 31st. And again, I'll talk about these three timelines. That's just one small piece, that basket. This week's Astro Cafe is going to walk us through the Skybridge map, the full moon in Aquarius, Sun sextile Uranus, which brings great opportunity for a breakthrough, and the becoming basket. Plus, I will give you the powerful questions of the week and a practice to help you meet this energy. All right, we will also go into the go deeper parts if you'd like to go exploring your chart. All right, if at all you're feeling like you're behind, no worries, you are not. You just might be feeling that momentum that had been starting in the last couple weeks, and you're exactly on time for your own becoming. All right. So this week, your soul dreams are coming true, and I'm going to show you exactly how the sky, the cosmos, is holding us in sacred space and conspiring on our behalf. So I'm going to do some sharing with you so that we can kind of drop in a bit. Okay, so as we look at this week, we are in Leo season, and we're really being called to make our life up the way we want it. And so we still have time left, the next few weeks. So again, any challenges we're seeing on our path might just be divine plot twists, or hurdles to have us jump a little left, jump a little right. Remember in the analogy of kind of giving our soul the wheel, right? In a highly performing uh, spe race car, right? That has the capacity to be high performance and travel at fast speeds, right? When we barely turn the wheel, wow, we can go off the rails, right? Well, I know that a lot of you listening are really working on being your most conscious selves, right? Living in sacred union with yourself, even being your highest self, right? Like living, tuning into like the shadow and the gift, and even like the city or enlightened states if you follow your gene keys or you're looking at your human design, and looking at the higher archetypal characteristics of all of your astrology archetypes, right? And so if we're ever feeling like we're dipping down and really kind of connecting with our humanness and not showing up the way we want, it might be a moment to just pause, take a sacred pause and just connect, connect with that, our highest self, kind of feel what it is, that invitation to be that self, and just give ourselves a pause so that we can take time to get there, so that we're not just trying to react and create and be a taskmaster to, check off the steps to get the goals created. Because if we're doing that, we're probably coming from our human form of how we think things need to be done. But if we allow not holding so tight on the path, but and not making a sudden move, that's not spirit led, but holding firm in our principles and our standards and our values and our highest beliefs, and just allowing spirit, allowing your soul to just kind of take that wheel a little bit, and just paying attention to what shows up so that we can say yes to the yeses and the nos to the nos, right? As you've heard me say before, well, this week, as we're making our life up the way we want it, there are a few things that are going to be happening to help us out. So, this one is kind of a big one. So, I have it kind of stretched all the way across the week, although technically the orbs are tighter, meaning the degrees within which an astrologer might call this, an occurrence. I think that the people who show up here to the Astro Cast are probably highly sensitive souls. So I think that we can sense the energy of whatever it is, like sensing someone coming in a room, not only when they're right in front of our face, but even when they're on the outskirts or just outside the door. So I think that this is a great thing to be tuned into for the whole week. We don't need to get into being too data heavy. There's a fancy long word, I believe, through who noticed this phenomena in the heavenly skies, and their name starts with the B. This basket starts with the B. Forget the long name. I think that becoming is a word here that would help us to not memorize the facts of astrology and the data, but to apply it practically. It's a basket, something that can hold us into our becoming. And we have Uranus in Gemini, Neptune in Aries. If you are new here, you can see that I have the astrology zodiac signs to help us out. We also have some symbols so that we're learning. These are sextiles or harmonious union, and this is a trine, which is another harmonious union. So we have a lot of team work. You could feel these like archetypal guides like holding space for us, right? And all of these planets are slow movers. They're all sitting at 4 degrees, about 4 degrees out there. So if you have any planets in these areas, 4 degrees Gemini, 4 degrees Aries, 4 degrees Aquarius, those might be places to look for some clues. See if you have planets there or anything going on. But the idea there is to let your dream take a shape that you can hand someone. And what I mean by that, right, is we're connected not only to ourselves, but we're connected to other. We're connected to the other. We have our full moon happening, shedding light on Aquarius. And Aquarius is really also about community, and it's about the collective. So, really, our work here this week and in the timelines that I'm going to show you next are about feeling and connecting deeply to the sacred union, right? Sacred union of our higher self, as I talked about in the beginning, our highest path, and what feels like our highest destiny for us, but also within the context of it being the highest outcome for all. So that is really what the vibe is this week. And so let your dream take shape um, in a way that you could just hand it right to somebody, right? And so I don't mean for this to sound like riddles. I really try to make this as practical as I can. Part of this is, if you try to hold water or you try to hold sand too tight in your hand, right? It just pours out. I think of that basket, right? It's kind of holding what's divine and letting everything else spill out. So when you're thinking of your divine partner, your divine work and services and offerings in the world, the legacy you leave behind in this world, right? What do you hold sacred in it? And by now, if it's gotten to be just too much to try to hold it all, I know that's been the case for me. I've been overwhelmed in a positive way, but overwhelmed just the same with just trying to hold so much that I've created, so much that I have here to offer. And we're being asked right now to hold the gold nuggets that want to come to the surface. Hold what's truly sacred and let go of the rest, and you'll be guided. You'll be guided. You don't even need to know what that is, right? But just holding that consciousness will help, or offering that as a sacred prayer, right? So, this is really happening this week. Also, the idea of we have the power, we hold infinity in the palm of our hand. Um, is another, I think, was it William Blake, maybe? I don't know. Had that famous, like, timeless saying, right? And so if we think of it that way, like what can we hold and what can we offer that's really in alignment with our highest? And sometimes when we've had visions of what that looks like for our life and we hold and we hold and we hold it, it can get a little old. It can even get outdated. So that's not the kind of old that I'm talking about three old powers. I'm talking about the timeless dreams you've had, the ancient dreams you've had. Maybe even it feels like a future self giving you the dreams, right? Um, but if it's stale, we're letting it go. If it's not sustainable, we're letting it go. So we're really on this brink of like, you go up to the top of the roller coaster and you don't know what that thrill ride's gonna be like. But the idea is we know we're gonna be okay. Our seatbelt's fastened, we're harnessed, we're harnessing our gifts, even if we don't know what they are yet. We're harnessing the ability, the power to stay in equanimity. I think most important this week is staying in sacred union with yourself, your highest path, your highest destiny, highest outcomes for all, and harnessing your power to stay in equanimity. Stay in emotional equanimity, not getting knocked off center. When things feel so good, we have moments of bliss. We have moments of awakening. We have moments of our cup being just running, overflowing with positive emotion, so much that we're a puddle. Oh, it's literally happened to me, like on the daily the last couple weeks, as soul dreams come into reality. But the idea here is to not let us stop, not let it stop us in our tracks. We're getting these moments, I believe, of feeling so much goodness as a practice, truly receiving, truly receiving. Because if we're going to live a heaven on earth as individuals and bring that into the collective, anchor that and bring that into the collective, we need to practice. We need to get really used to being able to hold that much love. Practice receiving and imagining that much love every night before we go to bed, even, right? I sure have been. And oh, have I gotten it? And not letting it us, not letting it stop us in our track, not being a puddle. Also a puddle of love and emotion, but using that love and use it to harness. Also, when we're feeling overwhelmed or we're feeling like a dip has happened because we've had a great awakening moment and then all of a sudden we're in a dip, right? And sometimes when we're like in those dips, we could feel like, oh, it's happening. Like I was in this great place and now I'm just down in this dip. And the thing about that is we've arrived when we've come to that place, and dips are normal. They're a part of our evolution. And sometimes it means that there's something below the surface that also wants to get our attention, that wants to inform us, right? Inform us. And a lot of times that's what's happening is we'll kind of be accelerating. I know for me in my loop-de-loops of the hero's journey of my own, right? I've been kind of like cornering, like, and I'm like trying to like corner my vehicle that is me, like cornering like I'm on rails and I'm not going off rail, right? Like I'm staying on my highest path, like feeling it as I go, staying in that moment and staying in emotional equanimity, staying in a place of frequency where I'm trusting, I'm believing. Last night, as all of this was coming through, I had so many tech issues with Claude, just not listening. One time I said, "Well, where did it say in the directions to do what you just did?" Oh, it didn't. My bad. Repeat, repeat, repeat. So yeah, something that should have taken 30 minutes took like 6 hours. But the whole way I practiced staying in sacred union, practicing equanimity, emotional equanimity, mastery of emotion, and surrendering. Like surrendering in the prayer of my intention, surrendering in something coming from all of it, and trusting my path. And so, yeah, and some new things got born. And so that was really wonderful. So I'm going to talk a little more about, so just trust the dips if they happen. They're really just part of our experience. We're integrating during a dip moment. We're integrating. And we're allowing some things to fall away and some new pieces to come. If your place is in a little bit of a disarray, it's okay. Um, if it feels like you're out of sorts, it's okay. Through these things, my guidance would be tell yourself, it's okay. I'm okay. We're okay. We're in sacred union. We're on the higher path. We're practicing higher uh, equanimity levels and we're surrendering and we just hold, hold, right? It's the work you take outside of the meditation cushion. It's the work you take off of the yoga mat, right? I believe the ascended masters did not teach us so that we could continue to like look up to them and believe that they could do the things that they did, but that we can do these things. We have this power of transcendence and ascending. So some more things that are happening this week. We have the full moon in Aquarius. Aquarius really honoring the archetype of the individual. Let your freak flag fly, honey, right? Be the weirdo you are. Aquarius loves the word weirdo. And I mean that like in such a loving way, right? This is about your uniqueness, your individuality, your gifts. Let them shine through during Leo season. Now, our full moon correlates to our new moon we just had. So a couple weeks ago, our new moon was in Aquarius. So this cycle goes from new moon in Cancer. If I said Aquarius, I meant Cancer. We had a new moon in Cancer. So we were meeting something new in our life, and it was about the feels. And it was about coming home to ourselves, maybe feeling home in another, or in our path, or in our passion, or in our calling or service. It was about being seen and heard by ourselves and perhaps another. And now, 2 weeks later, we're in this full moon. And so now in Aquarius, we're being that self in Gemini season, being the lead character vibe of who we are, making our life up the way we want it, while we're being that individual and letting our personal light the world, light the community, and we're meeting that whole community. So you might be finding your people even around this time or thinking about how When you really show up as yourself, notice what happens. Notice the strangers that are attracted to you. Notice the people that you get to be an earth angel for, or the synchronicities that come. Share your gifts with the circle that needs them, right? Whatever that looks like. And it doesn't have to be an outward expression, it could be something that you do on the inner as well. Now, as we look at the moon cycles, it's important to know too if it's something that you like to vibe with and kind of take the lens a little further. Every 6 months, we have a zodiac to zodiac cycle where we had a new moon in Aquarius 6 months ago. So that was what, around March or something like that. Don't quote me, count it back. Whatever you were intending in that new moon, you've had 6 months to bring it into fruition. Our next moon, I believe, is going to be a new moon in Leo. Woo, it is. August 12th, we'll have a Leo new moon, and that's going to be a total solar eclipse. Ooh, I think we're going to have an event. Okay, so should we have an event? Let me know. All right, so with this Aquarius full moon, a little more, the theme, connection, innovation, individual and collective growth. An affirmation could be, I embrace new possibilities and I trust in my vision for the future. Strengthen your supportive friend groups in your community, wherever it's feeling supportive of you and symbiotic, right? Let go of anything outdated, outdated friendships, outdated roles, outdated behaviors that you sometimes have in relationship, maybe that don't serve you anymore. You've graduated, honey, right? Like we're another version of ourselves now. It's a time to be future focused. Okay, so we'll leave that as enough of the moon info for now. That's my birthday on the full moon, so I'm excited about that. Um, I also wanted to just mention because we were talking about Leo season, we did begin the week with, and again, I feel like the transits this week are every day. They're just every day. That's what's going on. Because the sun in Leo, and Leo, it being Leo season, and the sun kind of being at the center of like all of what's happening. I just really feel like this is central to the whole week. This sun in Leo, sextile Uranus and Gemini. So your radiance, right? You might pay attention. Like, are people saying that you're radiant? You might be. This is the month for it, the season for it. Let your brilliance shine. Be the gem you are. Pressure makes diamonds. These sorts of like just shining. You are the shiny object. These kinds of feels, right? Your radiance meets a sudden opening. It's almost like curtain call, like um a new door opening, or like a new stage that's open that you just get to like walk on it and create life the way you want, right? But it's going to be starring you. Like you're the star of your own show, of your own reality, with all these aspects showing up. I don't mean aspects in a astrological term. I just mean all these pieces of you, all these other yous that all are playing in the play of your game of life, or your movie of life. Um, so let one bold move announce what's changed in you. So you might be sharing some news. You might be subtly bringing out more and more and more about what's changed in you. I would invite you to gauge, how does boldness feel for you? Because we've all got different configurations in our charts, right? We've all got different configurations in our charts, and you might be feeling like, I'm going to do this one big bold move, or I'm going to just reveal a little boldness and a little more of myself every day for the rest of Leo season, right? Something like that. Um, but I wanted to also kind of give a spin around the wheel to look at, you might want to drop in and look at your Aquarius, because, and it looks like this in your chart, because Aquarius is where our full moon is. And so that being the unique individual you are and like how that might pertain to society, you might want to look at which house gives you a theme in that. But I wanted to show you something that would be important to look at. So let's say that, and ignore the numbers because the houses are however yours are. But when you're looking at, let's say all of this section here, let's say all of this is the zodiac of um, Aquarius. Let's say this whole section is Aquarius in your chart. It'd be better if this was color coded. What you want to do is look for the one cusp of a house. Look for the line that points inside of it's going to be probably one. I have two actually. I have two house cusps that are in Aquarius, I believe. I better check that. That's the house number. And so that's definitely if you follow Placidus, if you're following Placidus. Because when you just look at your Aquarius zodiac field on your chart, you might see that two houses are in it. It might span a couple of houses. You're looking for the cusp because that is the house that Aquarius rules. And so that might give you some clues. All right, I want to show you a little more about the timeline that I was talking about. Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay. If you want some guidance on piercing time, okay. And I've talked about this before. You've probably seen me do a little thing where we say, okay, if these are all of these spiraling loops on our way to self um, realization, right? Like really being the divine form you are in human body, living the soul's evolution you came for, and exiting, having your soul mission complete, living the life you came for, that you were made for, that you were meant for, right? And that if we don't stay stuck in the weeds of the hero's journey, but we keep transcending and ascending through, and that whatever our wounds are, that we have found like worthiness and medicine or magic in, or whatever pain we've been able to turn into maybe passion and purpose, something like that, that we don't really get over them. It's like we don't get over grief, really, right? Sometimes these are just part of the fabric of our being, whether it's emotional fabric, intellectual, spiritual, or whatever. Well, we can take those and know every time we're going to jump levels, we need to harness those gifts. We need to harvest that magic or medicine. And you've seen me take this maybe, and I fold it almost accordion like, and I match up the holes, and we're able to take like a sharp pencil and go bing and just pierce it, right? Well, that's kind of a metaphor for how this really works in our lives. So last night I was just being tested, which is one way to look at it. I really wasn't, because to be tested means there's an outer force that's testing me. No, I'll say it felt like an initiation though. I knew that I needed to do those three things I was talking about: stay in sacred union. I needed to stay in emotional equanimity, and I needed to surrender to the divine, right? And I knew something wonderful would come of it. And so it did. What I was shown is this way of looking at timelines. Now, this is one way, and this was more how your personal medicine or magic helps you pierce through time. And when I say pierce through time, I mean surrendering to the idea, to the belief that miracles could happen. I was working on the Astrocast, not having tech work for me at all, not being able to produce the things that I wanted to produce at all, because all my tech was just freezing. It's like my screens weren't working and things like that. Well, I realized, oh, This isn't going to get done. And then I was like, oh no, I need to surrender to miracles. Just like that, I knew 100% without a doubt that the Astrocast would look different than it's ever been, that it would be what it is to be, that I had relinquished control of what I thought it needed to look like. I gave my soul, my spirit, my divinity the wheel and said, go to town, baby. Okay, I'll just sit here meditating, praying my prayers, believing them 100%. Show me what you got for me. That's even a better outcome than me trying to produce what I was going to produce. And this is what I saw in my head. This is what I got. So here's what it is. You could think of this golden line like an alchemical um, moment. Like this is the moment that is now. This is the power of now, if you will. Well, we have a lunar shift that's happening that's starting this week through March of 28. What that means is the nodal axis, let me show you real quick what I mean. The nodal axis, an axis of the nodes, meaning the points in space that the moon occupies the furthest in an elliptic shape. It's more of an oval, doesn't go in a circle. It's an oval. So that has been in the point of the sky that we refer to as Virgo and Pisces, Virgo and Pisces, Virgo and Pisces for 18 months. So our eclipses are eclipses that happen on the new moon and the full moon, when the new and the when the moon are to get moon and the sun are together, and when the moon and the sun are opposing. They've been in those spaces. We've been shifting now, and now we're going to see an ecliptic path of Leo to Aquarius, Leo to Aquarius, Leo to Aquarius. So, Leo to Aquarius, going back and looking at our graphic, okay, for this amount of time, right, in a large window, this large 18-month window, right? That's one of the windows that we're experiencing right now, okay? Also, another window that we get to experience, and that's kind of like we're touching that timeline. We're living in that timeline. We're actually, if you thought of it like the beginning of it and then 18 months would be over here. So we're not kind of doing it exactly that way. We're just saying we're touching that timeline. That timeline is something that the cosmos is offering right now in nature. It's offering that the eclipses are going to be at the Leo and Aquarius axis. If you have important placements in those areas, take a look at them. If not, just the archetypes of them are important to know because when we have the eclipses, it's an opportunity where the cosmos energy acts like a drain. All the lower frequencies of Aquarius, all the lower frequencies of Leo, these are the ones where they get a bad rap, and they're really not true. Like if you really know a Leo, you know that they're not egotistical. Unless maybe they've been really, really damaged or something, or like they have to have attention. No, they don't actually want to be the star of the show. They don't really want to be the center of attention, but they realize that when they're in service and if they're gonna uh, like fulfill their soul mission, they're gonna have to be because they are the sun and they have to sometimes be the center of attention just to just to fulfill their destiny, you know. But they usually will, in humility, be waiting to be invited, wait to be asked. Oh, you should do an astrocast. Like, oh, would you show me how to do this? Oh, would you read my chart? Right? It's not me walking around just getting this idea that I want to do it. I'm going to force everybody to listen, right? So anyway, you can look in your chart to see if you have any planets there, throw that into the story. Otherwise, just know that the lower archetypes of Leo and Aquarius were all being asked to like let go out of the drain. And we're wanting to move toward the higher archetype frequencies of Leo and Aquarius. If you want to know what those are and you want to get a page, if you feel like it would be helpful to have a page of high frequency zodiac words, lower frequency zodiac words, noun, verbs, and adjectives, in an entire destiny dictionary that I have created, kind of like A to Z, except it's through all of the zodiacs and all of the planets and things like that. I'm working on that, and I will have that in our hub soon. All right. Then another one we're doing is we have a Saturn retrograde. Saturn retrograde started yesterday. It started on Sunday. So if we look at that, that's another thing that we have happening. Not only today, it's happening through mid-December, right? So July, August, September, October, November, December. So 6 months worth. For 6 months, okay, for 6 months, Saturn in Aries. Saturn, the king of manifesting. Saturn, the structure that wants to hold you. It wants to hold space for you. It's like a loving, high, sacred masculine frequency father who wants to hold you and your dreams. We're being asked to build the divine structure. What is the divine structure that will house or hold or allow your dreams to stand on? What is that? Well, I tell you, when I went to do the Astrocast and get in front of the TV this week, I was like, I knew that wasn't it because I traveled a bit ago. I know I'm going to want to be doing some traveling. I'm not always going to be in front of my TV in my living room. I know it's not sustainable for me to always do it that way, right? So, what divine structures can my dreams stand on? Will hold and maintain my true soul dreams. That is what Saturn wants for us. So while it's in retrograde, review, revise, reconnect, reflect, retrofit, all the RE words, do all of that when it comes to your soul dreams. Like review them. What was the thing you thought you wanted? Do you want that? Right? Or are you just going to be like, look, soul, take the wheel. Look, divine, take the wheel. Bring me my whatever. Bring me my whoever. You know better than I. You know it. You know all my dreams and desires. Just bring it and I'll I'll work to be the version of myself I need to be, and I will recognize it coming, right? Or you saw over the last couple of weeks, I had all my note cards out and all these other pieces, and I'm like, what's my identity in all these areas of my life? What's the structure in all these areas of my life, right? I didn't even get all of it finished, but it helped me do some reviewing before this time came, right? And so that's what we're doing. Now, what I would guide you to do during this time, the 6 month time where we have Saturn retrograde in Aries, to remember that Aries is the spiritual warrior. Aries is the altruistic activist. Aries wants to lead something. Aries wants to stand for something. Aries also is the ruler of house one, so it's about identity. Who are you when you are living and fulfilling your soul mission? Now, I think our soul mission is not just about service and serving humanity. It's about being your divine self. It's about being the sacred masculine and divine feminine within you that you are. It's about being the God, goddess that you are. It's about living the life you want to live. It's about receiving. It's about receiving the unconditionally loving life and lover. and friends and family, even if that is soul family, right? It's not just about what we're doing and what we're serving, it's about what we get to receive. What does your heaven on earth look like? Restructuring is happening so that you can let go of the stuff that's not your heaven on earth and bring in the stuff that is. So, one of the most important things we can do is check in with all the belief systems that may have come just now that when I said that. Are you strong enough mentally to let go of every limiting belief that is not in alignment with your heaven on earth? That's what I think the cosmos is asking us, right? Then next, your stage to shine. So we have that here kind of depicted in a yellow gold. We have Leo season. We have Leo season until August 22nd, right? So we have a few more weeks where that is our theme. Our theme is to shine as yourself. How can you shine a little more each day? When you go into your closet, are you wearing the clothes that are your future self? Are you being the self you're here to be in your wildest, boldest soul desire dreams? Are you doing those things on a daily basis? How does it feel in your body, right? So even tuning into our nervous systems and how we feel will be really, really huge. One of the biggest practices I've had in the last 2 weeks, and then I'm going to show you one final slide, has been to actually work on an inner level with my nervous system with what it would feel like to feel more love than I can even imagine on a daily basis, like to actually have my dreams come true in my sacred partnership, in my family, in my sacred service in the world, in every aspect of my life. You saw me with all the note cards in all the areas of life, right? Like, what would it actually feel like? Well, I know that I've been conditioned to not feel worthy of all of those things, or to feel guilt or shame about really living deep, deep happiness and peace, bliss, fulfillment. And I've really been working with it's okay to feel that good, especially, right? It's especially difficult when we're seeing things in our communities or in our world that are challenging, and we're seeing people are experiencing things where they're not able to feel those ways. Maybe those are the time that are the most important for us to practice feeling those ways so that that energy can ripple out into humanity. So I want to share one last slide with you, and it is a little bit about how we could go into our charts. All right, so again, you can go into Aquarius, and if we look here, you could see that this person, see, it would look like, well, this house is touching Aquarius. This house is also touching Aquarius. And some astrologers would say, you can count both, but more technically, they're probably going to say, look at the house cusp. And when we're looking at a piece of the pie here like this, going in this order, it is this first line that is the kind of the door, we can say. That's the doorway to that house. And Aquarius is the one who has the key. Aquarius is the ruler of this person's ninth house. Okay, so if they were confused between their eighth house and their ninth house, this is the line. So I think it's more important to look at what house does Aquarius rule, right? In the rare occasion that you might have a line that's on the outside of Aquarius and another line that's on the outside of Aquarius, outside of Aquarius, where Aquarius might not rule any house. That is possible. All right, so just something to look at if you wanted to. You could also dive into your Uranus. The Uranus gate looked really powerful for this week as well. with the placements. So your Aquarius house, your Uranus gate might be something to investigate. I found it very interesting. I always have to practice what I preach with these astrocasts, and I have gate 47. It's the gate of realization. So I am here to help people to find clarity when you're confused, and there's a lot of pieces you're sorting out just by being in my presence. So hopefully you were able to feel some of that today. You can find that aha moment and the realizations. If you want to deepen into that further, holler. It is time to get some events going, some connecting online, so we can continue these conversations, some intimate gatherings and some larger gatherings. So I want to hear from you. Please, please, please. If this is helpful, please like this if you're seeing it on YouTube. Subscribe. That would might help the channel to be recognized. Although what I'm really doing is wanting people to come into the community, the online portal, the Higher Self Hub, when that gets rolling. If you want to do more work around having me sit with you and ask some powerful questions to help you find the aha moments and the realizations that you're looking for, I'm open to hearing those requests. Okay, when we are looking at going deeper, here are some really powerful questions that I have curated, being a professional astrologer, but also a professional life coach. You know, we're not really coaching to get someone to the result or the goal that they want. Often the goal they want is not really the highest outcome, but what we're doing is getting them to their highest outcome by helping them be who they need to be. We're coaching to their identity, right? We're coaching their identity. We're coaching their evolving identity. We're coaching their current beliefs and paradigms to help them break through to next levels and access bigger and greater aspects of themselves to help them in their journey of becoming. So that's what these questions are. And above each question, you'll see the transit that I've chosen to highlight because I think it's an important one. And some questions are, how are you holding your gifts back from people who need them? What is your own light revealing that feels suddenly possible? What dream you're building toward is finally ready to take shape? If you have been beta testing, you probably will be receiving a copy of the powerful questions and the places to go deeper in your chart if you'd like to, your charts in your birth chart, human design, and gene keys. And if you don't have those, feel free to make a request and I can get those to you. If you're interested in joining our Higher Self Hub, where all sorts of self-coaching, life coaching tools are going to be made available to you. And we'll also have our Astro Lab, our Human Design Lab, and our Gene Keys Lab soon. So we'll have lots of free intro videos if you are dabbling and getting your toes dipped to see how this work is working for you. There will be some free videos there for you. If you are going deeper, you're deep diving, then you're telling me the things that you want to see and you're helping curate exactly what kind of resources will be there. And then if you are devoted to your destiny, you'll have an opportunity to work more closely with me. And that will be an absolute honor because I'm really, really here to support those seekers and alchemists and soulpreneurs who want to really be who they came here to be, live the life that they know they were made for, serve the world by being yourself and truly live your highest destiny. And the destiny is not a destination that we get to at the end, but it is something that we allow and we say yes to by living it each day. All right, Teresa Ann signing off here. Much, much love to you. I'm holding you in such deep devotion, believing in you, seeing you. I see you. I believe in you so, so very much. Serve the world by being yourself and live your highest destiny.